Hey guys, how's it going? Zoltan here, and thanks a lot for joining our hang here at Zoltan's Bass Lounge. I really hope that you guys are really doing well at home and continue playing and really enjoying playing your bass. Okay, now, this is the first of a few videos that we're gonna devote to learning and playing one of the most important set of chord progressions in jazz, which is the I got rhythm changes. Okay, or as we very commonly know it, the rhythm changes. Okay. And let me actually get started by establishing the form of rhythm changes. And what we need to know about rhythm changes, the form of rhythm changes, is that it is 32 bars in length. And these 32 bars, so from top to bottom, is 32 bars. And these 32 bars are actually equally divided into 4 8-bar sections. Okay? And each of these sections are marked by a letter, either A or B. So we will have A or B sections within the form. Okay, and that is because these two different sections, the A and B sections, harmonically are very, very different from each other. In the A sections, we've got a lot of chords. It's very dense in chords. You know, we've got 2 chords for almost every bar in the A sections. I think it's only the 5th bar of the A sections that we have 1 chord per that whole bar. Everywhere else, you'll have 2 chords per bar. Okay, but versus this, the B section is very, very sparse in chords. We've got 2 bars per 1 chord. Okay, so you can see how in the A section we have all these chords to play, you know, one after the other, whereas in the B section we've got a little break, you know, and it's a real great contrast to the A section where the chords are real sparse and you've got 2 bars time to actually really kind of elaborate on 1 chord at a time. Okay, so this is a very important thing to know about rhythm changes. Okay, and so now let's just take a look at what the form how the form actually lays out within the 32 bars. Okay, and you will find that we'll have the first 8-bar section is an A section, the second 8-bar section is an A section again. Now the third 8-bar section is a B section. Okay, and the 4th 8-bar section is an A section again. All right, so therefore it is an A, B, A form. So we have 32 bars, 4 8-bar sections, A, B, A form. And that's actually a very, very common form. If you look at some standards, if you look at thousands of standards actually, jazz standard tunes, a lot of these tunes will have the same exact form. 32 bar length, 8-bar sections, A, B, A forms. Okay, now I'm going to concentrate on the A parts for a while, okay? Because they're so heavily populated with chords, it's really important that we give ourselves time to really observe and really learn the movement of these chords and also the individual chords and the chord tones that they actually carry within themselves, okay? And we're going to do it in B flat, in the tonality of B flat, because rhythm changes is very, very much played in B flat, or it's very popular to be played in B flat. Okay, and before we go through each individual chord here, I just want to mention a little fact that you know, in a normal major tonality, for example B flat major, the 6th chord would be a minor 7th chord and the 2 chord would be a minor 7th chord. But in rhythm changes, what happened, these minor quality chords have been actually altered into dominant 7th chords. So the whole of the changes will carry this real characteristic dominant 7th sound with it. Okay, so when you hear rhythm changes, you'll hear a lot of dominant 7th chords. So, you know, that really is the dominant 7th sound, is really the harmonic and melodic character of rhythm changes. Okay, so therefore, as we go through these chords now, you're gonna notice that instead of the G minor 6 or the G minor 7th chord on the 6th degree, I'm going to actually play a G dominant 7th chord. For the 2 chord in B flat major, which would be C minor, I'm going to actually play a C7 chord, a C7 dominant 7th chord. So we are altering the minor chords into dominant 7th sounds. Okay, so let's just go through each of these chords, and as we go, we'll hear a nice little piano chord so we can actually play and hear our notes here against the harmony itself. Okay, so let's go through the first chord is the 1 chord, B flat 7. Okay, so let's just hear the piano chord. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the notes are B flat, the 3rd is a D, the 5th is an F, and the 7th is an A flat. Okay. Now the next chord will be the sixth chord, and it will be a G7, G dominant seventh chord. Okay, so let's hear that piano chord again. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that will be a G. The third is a B natural. The fifth is a D. And the seventh is an F. Okay. The next chord would be the 2 chord, and we'll play it as a dominant seventh chord, so it will be a C7 chord. So let's just hear the chord again. Yeah, there it is, great. And so we have a C, an E, a G, and a B flat. So the C is the root, the E is the third, the G is the fifth, and the B flat is the seventh. Okay. And our next chord will be the 5 chord, and that is the F dominant seventh chord. So let's hear it. Yeah, there it is. And that will be an F. The third is an A. The fifth is a C. And the seventh is an E flat. Okay. Now at some point the changes will move on to the 4 chord. And we'll play that as a dominant seventh chord as well. Okay, so that will be an E flat dominant seventh. So let's just hear the chord. Yeah, there it is. And so now let's play it. It's an E flat. The third is a G. The fifth will be a B flat. And the seventh will be a D flat. Okay. And the next chord will be built on the flat seventh note of the B flat tonality, which will be an A flat. So the flat seventh note itself is an A flat in the tonality of B flat. Okay, so we'll build our dominant seventh chord on this A flat note. So let's just hear the chord for the A flat 7. Yeah, and so there will be an A flat, a C as the third, the E flat is the fifth, and the G flat is our seventh. Okay. And now, towards the end of the progression, as I mentioned before, we'll use the 3 chord to replace the 1 chord, because harmonically they carry the same function. So a lot of times we can actually replace the 1 chord with a 3 chord there, with the 3 dominant 7th chord. And in the case of the B flat tonality, that will be a D7 chord. Okay, so let's just hear the chord again. Yeah, there it is. And so that will be a D. The third is an F sharp. The fifth is an A. And the seventh is a C. Okay. F sharp, A, C. Okay. And with that, we have covered all of the chords that are involved in the A section in the key of B flat. Okay. And you can see that we are talking about a lot of chords here, you know, and all these chords will have 4 chord tones, roots, thirds, fifth, seventh in all of them. So we're talking about a lot of notes here, you know, so we'll have a lot of variations, which is great. But we also really need to learn them, you know, from the ground up, really, from the simplest and most substantial solutions to kind of the more involved, more developed solutions as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to go through the chord progression. Okay, so let's just see how these chords lay out in that A section. Okay, within the chord progression itself. Okay, so the first bar, we've got a 1 chord, the B flat 7, on the first beat, and we've got a 6th dominant 7th chord, the G7, on the third beat. Now the second bar, we've got a C7, the 2 chord dominant 7, C7 on the first beat, and we've got a 5 dominant chord, the F7, on the third beat. So essentially we had a little 1, 6, 2, 5 progression for 2 bars. And now this will repeat exactly the same. So we'll have another 1, 6, 2, 5, 2 beats each. So now we have completed 4 bars. Okay. And here in the 5th bar is the chord that will actually last for the whole bar. Okay, and that will be a B flat dominant 7. So B flat dominant 7th chord, a B flat, D, F, A flat. A lot of people actually play this bar by playing the root first for the first 2 beats, and then playing the D on the third beat, just to play an inversion of the chord. And it also, that D also actually leads us to the next change in the next bar, in the sixth bar, which will be an E flat 7, the 4 dominant 7th chord, okay, the 4 chord. And in that sixth bar, the third beat will carry an A flat 7th chord, the flat 7th dominant 7th chord. That's a lot of flat 7th and dominance and all that. And from here, the 7th and the 8th bar will be just a little turnaround to turn us back around to the next A section, okay, to the top of the next A section. So we'll have a 3 chord, 3 dominant 7th chord, which replaces the 1 chord. We could have actually played a 1 chord as well, but harmonically it's exactly the same to play the 3 chord, okay, in its harmonic function. So we'll play the 3 chord for 2 beats. On the third beat we'll play the G7 chord, the 6th chord. And now the very last bar, the 8th bar of the A section, we'll play a 2 chord for 2 beats and the 5 chord for 2 beats. Okay, and that is the A section. Okay, now as I was actually going through all of these changes with you here, I really noticed that to talk about this and then to actually really explain it is it might sound a bit more complicated than what it is when you start to play it, you know, and when you start to actually memorize it with your ears, with your hands, and basically with all your musical senses. So what I'm going to do now, therefore, I'm just going to play the changes for you with a nice little play along here with piano and drums, and we'll play it very slowly. I'm going to call out all the changes for you as we go. I'm only going to play one note per change, so I'm going to play half notes or minims as we say here in England, and just to give you a real good sense of what the changes are, how they change from chord to chord, okay, and what the movements are. All right, so here it comes: 3, 4, B flat 7, G7, C7, F7, B flat 7, G7, C7, F7, B flat 7 for the whole bar, B flat, E flat 7 to A flat 7 to D, D7, C7 to F7, and that is 1 chord, the 6th chord, the 2 chord, the 5 chord, the 1 chord, to the 6th chord, to the 2 chord, to the 5 chord, 1 chord for the whole bar, 4 chord, flat 7th chord, 3 chord, 6 chord, 2 chord, and 5 chord. Great, well that's what the chord progression of the A part sounds like. All right, and we've gathered quite a bit of information here about the rhythm changes. We've found out what the form is. We found out what the chords are in the A part, and we put them together into the A part chord progression as well. So we've got a good idea about what it sounds like at this point as well. So we'll stop here and take a really good look at it, you guys at home. Start to familiarize yourself with the changes, what the chord tones are in particular with each and every chord. Okay, and we'll carry on in the next video. We'll start to build up some real nice substantial bass lines right from the ground up, you know, from our root notes to all sorts of other combinations. Okay, so have fun playing and have fun starting to work on rhythm changes, and I'll see you in the next video.